Hey everybody. Okay, I'm gonna give just a minute, see if anybody's out there. Oh my gosh, it's crazy cold. Crazy, crazy cold here. I'm sure that a lot of you guys are having this crazy cold, so my kids are home. So I'm hanging out in my living room today because everybody is home and they usually hang in the basement. Now that does not mean that we might get a surprise visitor or two up here. Who knows? But I had some things that I just was like dying to talk to you guys about. So I wanted to just come on and talk to you guys. And I know for some of you who know me well, you have maybe gotten on my lives a lot. And what I do, hi Carla, is usually thanks Stacy, is I usually give like some business advice. And I said this earlier this year when I did my very first live back, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to be giving you guys a ton of business advice. So if you're hopping on here and you think that I'm going to give you some kind of miracle to book parties, I'm totally not, because you know what? We have this amazing tool called 31 Today that you guys get to use. And when I first started, we did not have any kind of tools like you have now. So I think, hey Angela, hey Stephanie, I think the problem is more about self-development or personal development than it is about having the right tools. You guys know how to book parties. If you don't, there are tons of resources on 31 Today. You guys, this is like, there's never been more information to like out there available to you. I know that when I very first started with 31, I had my daughter, my oldest daughter now, she was 6 months old. And I remember holding her in the basement of the house that we lived in and listening online to a free call, like one of those annoying calls where like halfway in the middle, they tell you it's a free call and they're going to give you all this information. And then like right before they give you all the good stuff, they then like charge you a bunch of money or do this commercial on like if you just pay for this $100 course or whatever. So that's how I got by. Like I would just get on calls like that frequently and just try to take all the little nuggets that I could. And now with YouTube and Google and our very own 31 Today, you guys have a ton of resources. And you have this group, which is an amazing resource. But what I really want to talk to you guys about today is that y'all need to hi Julia, thank you. You guys need to stop it already with giving yourself too much grace. Now, here's the deal. Like we hear people all the time say, oh girl, just give yourself some grace. Oh girl, it's okay. Just give yourself some grace. And then what we do is we don't give ourselves grace. We give ourselves permission to not do well. Grace is like if you think about I'm just going to use this in terms of like a credit card, right? So there might be a grace period on the credit card. The grace period does not entitle you to not follow through. You still have to pay off whatever you did. You still have to do what you did before, but you actually just get to prolong it a little bit. So let me give you an example of grace, right? Like I gave myself a little bit of grace because I just had a baby. Okay. So in October, because I was born in November, or I was actually born in November, but the baby was born in November. October, I was flipping tired. So I gave myself a little bit of grace, but you know what? I gave myself grace in that I wasn't trying to pursue my goals. I was trying to maintain them. I gave myself grace in that I ate whatever I wanted to eat during that time. But you know what? The grace period's over and it's time to get back to work. Like you don't just get to choose to give yourself permission to quit. I mean, you can, but that's what I'm seeing. And you know what's even worse than you giving yourself permission is that you're giving your friends permission to do the same thing. And I am telling you guys, if you can text my best friend, Melissa Colley, who's on our team, or ask Robin White, who's one of my dearest friends. You can ask both of those girls. Sorry, I keep messing with my hair. I'm not used to having it in my face. you can ask both of those girls that I am not the friend to come to whenever I'm just like, oh, give yourself grace, unless you really do need to give yourself grace. Now, there are times in life, like I said, where you can have a little grace period. You can sit back, you can chill for a bit, but then you need to get to work. Like, you owe it to yourself. Stop giving yourself permission to quit and to not follow through with what you promised yourself to do. So I'm going to tell you how I do it all. Like, I would say that a lot of times people ask me, like, how do you do everything? How do you have, 4 kids, now 5? How do you have a newborn and you're going to the gym and you're starting to fit into your pre-pregnancy clothes already? And how do you, maintain this full-time job? And how do you do, like, write a book? How do you do all of that? How do you have a healthy marriage? Like, how do you do all of that? And I will tell you that it's not that I just wake up and have a lucky day. I am not a lucky girl. You guys, I know that a lot of you might know this already, but if you don't, I have a book coming out in May, and you can find out a little bit more about, like, my history and, like, where I came from on there if you don't already know. But I grew up with a single mom in a trailer park. Like, I am not the girl that always succeeded. When I was in my sorority in college, I tried and tried and tried to get on the executive board. Nobody ever voted for me. You guys, I'm not the kind of girl that just walks in and has the world handed to me. And I can tell you guys, the thing is, like, the people who are like that, they typically aren't successful. I mean, think about it. How many of you guys know the person who was, like, the most likely to succeed in high school because they had, like, straight A's and it always seemed easy and mom was always right there kind of coddling them along, and now they're struggling, right? You have to fail in order to move forward. And it's like the people who, like, what I have written on my notes is like, these things come into my brain and then I just write them in my notes on my phone. But what I have in my notes is the people who keep sucking and just keep going get further than those who got everything that was always easy for them. So it's like how many times have you thought, like, I suck at this? And I'll tell you, like, a really short story about me. If you know me, I cheered until my junior year in college. I was a cheerleader until my junior year in college, but I didn't actually make the cheerleading squad until my sophomore year of high school. But I was passionate about it. Like, that's all I did. I practiced. I worked super hard, and that's how I got there. And I know that some of you guys are where I was when I was younger and, like, working toward that and thinking, oh my gosh, I am never going to get there. I mean, it's so hard right now, and I feel like I'm working so hard and I'm doing all the right things and it's not happening. But I want to just encourage you and tell you it's going to happen if you don't quit. But if you suck at something and then you just walk away from it, even though you're passionate about it and you know it can change your life, you aren't ever going to get there. So I want to say it one more time for a lot of you that are just hopping on now. Stop giving yourself permission, like, so much grace that you give yourself permission to fail. Like, go give yourself a grace period if you need one, if you're going through something, if you have a divorce, if life is happening. But what I do to be successful, how we make it work, is we plan. So we have a plan all the time for everything that we do. So right now I'm working toward re-promoting to National Executive Director. I have a plan for that. I have been intentional with that. Back in October, even though it was not easy, you guys, I was 34 weeks pregnant, and I did a retreat in Ohio. Like, I didn't want to go do that. I was tired. I was exhausted. I had 4 other kids to take care of. I needed lots of sleep, and it took more brain power than I was ready to give. But it was something that was working toward my goal of changing other people's lives and also changing our family's life by getting me closer to that promotion, right? I mean, I'm not there yet. I don't know when I'm going to get there exactly. I have some ideas in mind, but I made a plan and I executed the plan. I did not let myself off the hook, okay? Then, there are, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Mom brain happens all the time, right? So one of the excuses that I hear a lot, I'm just going to move on to this one excuse. Hold on. this excuse that I hear all the time is like, people say to me that they can't do it. Oh, I was talking about planning. They say to me that they can't do it. And here's what I would say. A lot of times people blame it on their husbands or their family. And so there's two things that are happening there, okay? Number one is, if you actually went to your spouse and said, this is my dream, this is what I want to do, and he said no, then you have a husband problem, okay? That's when you have a husband problem. But if you haven't shared with him what your dream is, or you've been too shy to express what you need or ask for what you need from him, and so then you are assuming he's not going to be supportive because maybe he didn't support you with something else, well, then that's a you problem. That's not a husband problem. That's not a family problem. Have you sat your family down and said, this is my dream? I don't know if I'm going to get it, but gosh darn it, I'm going to work my tail off to get there. Right? Like, we're going to plan and make a plan at the beginning of the week to get there. And life does get in the way. I mean, I have kids. I know kids get sick. My kids are home today. I could have said, you know what, kids are home today. I'm not going to go live. I'm not going to share all of these thoughts that I have with my team, or I'm not going to close the parties that I have open today, or I'm not going to go on my VIP group and tell them about the sale. Or my husband and I, actually, the reason that I look like this is because we have planned a date day today. From at 11:30, my mom is coming over and she's going to stay with the baby. And my big kids are old enough to stay home by themselves, but I don't leave the baby with them yet. So she was going to come over, and I was determined that that was still happening. Like, we're not changing the plan because that was what the plan was. Now, it's not like dangerous to go outside or anything. It's just cold and the bus stops are not safe for the kids. So they're totally fine here and we're fine to go out. So we're doing that. But that's what the plan has been all week. On Sunday, we sat down and we looked at our schedules and we said, hey, what's going on this week? So my husband, if you don't know this, my husband is he has his own heating and cooling business. So as you could imagine, when it is record cold temperatures outside, he gets phone calls and they're random. We don't know when he's going to have them. So some of his job is planned and some of it is not. So I do have to allow for some flexibility in that grace period. But we had this on our schedule, and he is going to say, you know what, we had this on our schedule. So if somebody were to call right now, he would say, I can come, after such and such time. He's not going to just say like, oh, we had a date on our schedule and I'm so sorry I can't do that, because that's what we planned on and we made time for ourselves. So it's like that with everyone in our house. We have time set aside for a family day, like at least once a month. Whether that just be like going to the movies, or our kids love pizza movie night. We just let them spread out a blanket in the living room. We're kind of OCD about cleanliness around here, so we don't let our kids eat in the living room very often. So when they can throw a blanket down on the floor, even at 13 and 12, and just be with us, you guys, I don't care what your kids say, even when they're teenagers, they still like to be with you. I mean, I don't have like an 18-year-old, so I can't speak to that, but when they know that this is the plan, then they want to follow through with it. And it doesn't work perfectly every time, but most of the time it does. And I can tell you the weeks that we don't plan, or the nights before when we haven't talked about what the next day is going to look like, it can really get hairy. Like, it can get crazy. That's when like 4-letter words are yelled and people are angry and tears are going and the doors are slamming, and that can be from mom, dad, or the teenagers. You never know. So I just want you guys to know, like, when you don't follow through with it, it's not perfect. Hold on a second. I have a little stalker here. Hey, help me with her, Addie. Okay, so anyway, I told you, see, it's not perfect. It's never perfect. I have children like running through my living room as I'm doing this. But you have to have some kind of a plan to get through your week. So there are just certain times and days when we have things planned. So I have things planned for myself. I have date nights planned. We have family movie nights that are typically planned. And those aren't always like, for example, tonight we'll probably have a family movie night. We didn't really plan on that because we didn't know that they were just going to be home all day. So obviously we throw things in, but we also plan when we're going to work. Right now, with my husband's crazy schedule, the baby is still here until mid-February when he'll go to daycare a few days a week. But we have these things planned out where, like the night before, we will even rehash what we talked about earlier that weekend. Like, hey, do you still only have, this tomorrow? And where is this going to fit? And this is what I have to do. So for me, I'm kind of more of an organic thinker. I'm not super systematic. So some of you guys are more systematic and you like to know exactly what time. So Julie Tim, who a lot of you guys know, she's like super good systematic. Like she likes a method to everything, and she's fantastic at it. So on her schedule, she will put like, oh, Mandy Yance really likes Julie Tim. She does, because she's awesome. So I like, Julie schedules everything in 15-minute increments throughout her day. So she knows exactly where she's going to be and what she's going to be doing. So that system doesn't necessarily work for me. For me, I need to look at my entire week and say, okay, this is what I need to get done this week, and this is what I want to get done. And then here's the one thing that has to be there, right? So like obviously our date day today, we have that scheduled, but but everything else for me right now has to be a little bit more organic. Like, okay, so I need to promote bonus buys. I need to do a little bit of marketing for my book. I need to go into my team page and do a video. So I have like this list of, these are the things that need to get done this week. And this is what I'm trying to accomplish with that. Like I need to check into my 3 parties. How long will that take me? And so then when that day comes, I have to do that. I have workout time scheduled. So like this week, my goal is 5 times this week. It's Friday, and I've only been 4 times on Wednesday night. The baby was up longer than normal, so I didn't go on Thursday or Tuesday night. So I didn't go on Wednesday. So tomorrow morning, I have to go, because I'm not going to give myself permission to not show up just because the baby didn't sleep well one night. So tomorrow, it's my day. Like I have to go, because I'm going to hold myself accountable to what I said. So when you are holding yourself accountable, find somebody else to hold you accountable to. But you guys, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again until you guys get really sick of hearing it. Don't go and find yourself an accountability partner that's going to go let you off the hook. There is a difference between being kind and being nice. Being kind means, like, a kind-hearted person is going to tell you the truth no matter what. Like, they are going to give you that tough love when you need that tough love, and they're going to be your soft place to land when you need that soft place to land. But nice people are just nice all the time. Like, it's sugary, it's sweet, it's flattery, and that does not get you anywhere. Telling your girlfriend that it is okay when it is not okay, when she has not showed up the last 4 times that you've invited her to go somewhere, and she calls you again and says, oh, sorry, I can't come. It is not okay. It's not okay. Oh, girl, it's okay. No, it's not. That's when you say to your girlfriend, hey, you canceled on me the last 3 times. What's going on? Like, hold her accountable. She said she was going to do it. Make her do it. Or what about the girl who you talk to in this business, right? And she's always like, I'm going to have 4 parties next month, or I'm going to sell $1,000 next month. My goal is to sell $1,000. And then she doesn't get it. She's like, but that's okay. I had this, and this. No, it's not okay. You told yourself you were going to do it. Flipping show up for you and stop telling her that it's okay. It's not okay that she doesn't love and respect herself. I mean, I can't even tell you guys, like, I hear this stuff and it makes me cringe, because are you being a good friend if you can't hold her accountable? And I will tell you something. I have a big personality. You guys know that, right? That's right, Stacy. Why are we afraid to have real conversations? Like, if you're saying it out of love and saying it with respect, then it is not on you how she receives what you just said. If she needs to go check herself because of what you said, I mean, as long as you're saying it in a respectful way, your feelings, what you need, what you want, what you dream of, you're communicating that in a respectful way. It is not on you how somebody else receives that. You cannot control how they accept what you have to say or your feelings. I mean, we need to start having more critical conversations every day. And that's how you get what you want. I know I have a big personality, and there are some people who can't handle it. There are some people who I might be this bold with, and they might walk away. And it will hurt my feelings. You guys, I am tough, tough, tough on the outside. But listen, I am just like, my feelings get hurt all the time. I mean, you ask my husband, he is like, he has always got to hear me and see me cry, and my feelings get hurt, and I overthink things, and but I have to remind myself all the time, almost weekly, that if they can't handle who I am, then they're not the right people for me. I need to find the people who I'm not too much for, and I'm not enough for. Like, I need to find the people, and you need to find the people who you are enough for, whether you have these direct conversations with them or not. I mean, there is a kind way to tell someone, like, hey, it bothers me that you don't show up every time you say so. Or, hey, I'm your friend and I've noticed that you keep calling yourself fat. Stop talking about my friend like that. You are my friend, and now you're telling me something bad about you. Or, like you selling yourself short. Your friend is selling herself short to you. Hold her accountable. So become somebody's accountability partner and hold them accountable, but don't choose someone to hold you accountable that won't do the same thing for you, because that's not going to serve either one of you. It's not. It's being nice and flattering someone when it's not true. It's not going to get you anywhere. So, all of that to say, you guys, stop. Just stop it already, giving yourself permission to not follow through. Grace is temporary. Permission is final. So I don't know where you're at with your goals for this year so far. I don't know what you said you wanted to do January 1st, and now we're looking at the end of the month right now, and you're kind of like, I don't know. Not sure if I'm going to follow through with that, because it's harder than I thought it was. Number one, you can do hard things. Okay. Most of you, now not all of you, but most of you worked really, really hard to have children if you have them. Okay. Really, really hard. Like whether you adopted them or birthed them, you worked freaking hard to get that kid out of you, or out, like, get them into your home, right? Whatever it is. Or if, let's say you haven't had children, you worked hard. I mean, let's face it, people, junior high and high school were hard. Whether they were hard academically for you, maybe not, but socially they were hard, and you got through it. Like, you can do hard things. Some of you have been victims of sexual abuse. Some of you have been victims of verbal abuse or physical abuse. Some of you have been bullied when you were younger. Some of you have seen parents die, siblings die. You've survived cancer. I mean, for the love of all things, people, go book some parties. It's not that hard. You can do it if you can do all the other hard things. You just have to plan it, and you have to stop giving yourself permission not to do it. So, do your hard things. Hold yourself accountable. It's never too late to go back and do what you said you were going to do and didn't follow through with. I love you all, and I really come to you all of this out of love, and I hope you guys know that there are tons of resources for you to book parties, or if you need words, ask on here, because you guys are smart women, so capable, so able. Get on here and share with people what you're doing that's successful. Think about it. Like, what is it that you did that was successful? If you're a leader on here, and by leader, I mean, do you have one person on your team? Have you invited one person to your team? How did you do that? And share it with people. Like, it's not a secret. There are no secrets in this industry. You just got to do it. So, all right. Melissa is right. Go get your Ask and Gear, people, and do it. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and seriously, stay warm. It is only going to get worse here. So I might come on next week like crazy. I may not look anything like this anymore. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.